Hello once again everybody, and welcome back to my Character Crusade Unbound Season 2 Let's Play featuring Alusell, the Alteration Swordsman. So welcome to the last episode. This is the finale. Yeah, I did a dry run of this episode, and I'm super excited to share this with you. I thought it turned out pretty cool, just the little dress rehearsal that I did. So let's get started, shall we? Okay, so here we are outside of Highgate Ruin. I explained in the last episode how Alusell had made up his mind that it was Vokun who was the traitor, not Hevnarak. So in order to clear this curse from both himself and Haldir, he has to kill Vokun. And this, he was able to get from Haldir that that Vokun resides here. This is his temple. So we're standing outside. Before we go in, Alusell
Yes, my thane.
is
You
going
need
to
something?
have both
As
Raya
you wish, my thane.
and Eric wait outside.
First, I thought I'd miss farming. I'll be right here.
And that's because he doesn't want anyone to get caught up in this soul transfer. If there's anyone in the battle with Vokun that shouldn't be there, there's a chance that their soul is going to get sucked into the soul cairn instead of Vokun's. We're not giving Vokun the opportunity to do anything shady like that or anything tricky. So we're going to keep this simple. We don't want any of their souls or our own to be pulled into the soul cairn. And we want to do everything we can to lift this curse for both ourselves and Haldir. So this is going to be Alusell's battle for him to complete on his own. And that's been the first time since we actually battled Haldir, that we've had to be alone on a quest like this. So that kind of comes full circle. That's kind of a cool concept, in my opinion. It's very dark in here, so let's illuminate the place. I like to imagine that Alusell definitely feels a strong presence. Same kind of magical energy that he felt with Haldir and Olaf. And a deep, deep, deep sense of foreboding that he felt at Forelhost when he faced Ragat. Who is this? What is she doing here?
Is that magic? Careful, please.
Oh, you don't know the half of it, lady.
Need something?
Who are you and why are you here?
I'm Anska. Are you here to help?
Help with what?
I've finally located Vokun's crypt. The scroll I'm looking for just has to be here. Maybe you could help find it. I just know it's in here.
What scroll?
It's probably meaningless to you, but according to family legend, it links our bloodline back to Iskramor himself.
Alright, well, I hate to break it to you, but that is second fiddle to what I'm doing here. Okay, so we have a little monkey wrench thrown into the gears here. Alusell considers this deeply, but quickly. There's a real chance here that she's going to muck things up. There is a very good chance that if she follows us into the battle with Vokun, that she's going to suffer in the soul cairn for all eternity. If we kill her now, she's going to Sovngarde, or somewhere else if she
Need something?
didn't live the best of lives. So Alusell, always trying to suppress his humanity and his feelings, makes a cold, hard decision here to eliminate Anska.
Need something?
And on some sick and disturbed level, maybe this was the most humane way to treat the situation. And we're going to leave her with her dignity here. We're not going to loot her. Just because she was not an enemy of ours, we just had to take her out of the equation. Nothing personal. But we'll still loot the dead Draugr around here. Alright. Now that frees up Alusell to focus on the task at hand. Making full use of our distorted shape there. Okay, now we're getting fired at. Nothing doing there. Who is shooting at us? I think there's another Draugr over here somewhere, though. Of course, Vokun is going to throw endless minions at any intruder that happens across this crypt. Our rogue's parry there gave us a damage boost while he was drawing his bow. Aha! And I do have the crosscut perk, which gives you a bonus to your power attacks immediately following a regular attack. Lots of damage output here for a quick one-handed weapon. It's really coming along. I know we struggled with damage output for a while, but it's really, this build has really come into its own. I like it a lot. One of my favorites, actually. 7 years playing Skyrim, and actually I don't remember enjoying the game as much as I am for this playthrough. This has been a great playthrough, a great experience. All the gratitude in the world to the Character Crusade guys for kind of providing the spark for this. And I do apologize for jumping around a lot in these last 2 episodes. I wish I had the time to more organically make my way through the story and the quest and everything, but I just ran out of time. But in the future, I can see this as a character that I revisit again in a couple years or whenever. I know that there's a super long wait for Elder Scrolls 6, but in my opinion, I still have a lot to experience in Skyrim, especially with Ion's overhauls, all these epic Beyond Skyrim quest mods. I still haven't even played Falskar yet, which I do have it in my load order. I just haven't played it yet, so I'm looking forward to that as well. Okay. Making sure we got lots of stuff to sell if we need it. You know, Alusell loves money. Let's hit a quick save here. Because money means training. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. We got ambushed a little bit there. Okay, we got a mage over there. Let's see if we can finish this guy off. Alright, now the mage should be easy enough to take care of on our own. Just beat him to the punch on that one. He's getting ready to bash our head in with that that power attack he was going for. Yeah, who thought that an unarmored 1 one-handed sword specialist could prove to be so dominant in clearing these dungeons out. I'm just really pleased with the way this character build and the story concept and everything turned out. As I continue gushing about Alusell. Okay, more stuff to sell over here. Last time I played this through, that was an ebony sword. Now I'm getting skunked over here with a orcish blade that's that is not even worth enough to justify its encumbrance. All right, throw down another quick save and let's proceed. Closer and closer to Vokun. Alusell feels the that overwhelming sense of foreboding getting stronger, kind of suffocating him. Almost like a super hot and humid day, to where the air is so heavy you can't even breathe. That's kind of what he's feeling right now. Okay. The puzzle levers. Alright, so we have a lever with snake. And is that a fox down here? Snake and fox on the lower level. And then up here we have, this is the order we're going in. Eagle, whale, fox, snake. We're going to have to remember that. We have the whale and the eagle over here. So we're going eagle, whale, fox, snake. Eagle. Whale. Snake, we need the fox. And the snake. And that should open up the gate there. Nice. Okay, so we're heading further into the catacombs here of Highgate Ruins. A valuable looking potion there. Oh, and yep, the catacombs. Getting closer. Something tells me this place is going to become more dangerous the deeper we go. Just because that's how things work in video games. Should have stayed asleep. We have a hulking. Slicing and dicing, man. You know, these Draugr would be so much more dangerous if they didn't take forever getting up out of bed. It's like their biggest weakness. You know, the Joy of Perspective mod, I was kind of on the fence about it. I'm like, why do I need something like that? But, you know, every once in a while you're looking down at the ground and you see your feet and you're like, oh, that's nice. Something about being able to see yourself in first person. It's worth it, I must admit. Okay, another quick save. I can't put you guys through another Alduin battle where I'm just dying over and over again. Or Regat battle, for that matter. Should be able to detonate this lock. Oh boy. Okay, we don't want to take these guys head on. Let's see if we can implement a little trickery here. That went well. If there's one thing to be said for going unarmored, it's the quickness factor. You really have a great ability to scramble your way out of bad situations, as long as you don't get hung up on anything. Had I more foresight there, I may have actually planted a rune in front of one of these sarcophaguses, or sarcophagi. I don't know how to say that. Take them out of it a little bit before the fight starts. Give ourselves a little head start. I tell you what, if you're running a mod that kind of camouflages these trap triggers a little better, man, these things can be deadly. That's usually a mod that I like to run, but it's not part of the Tuco guide. I might implement it at some point, but just adds a little more tension to the idea of these otherwise obvious traps. Okay. Alright, you and me, buddy. Really? That's it? Draugr Overlord. Okay, something tells me the next one's gonna be a bit tougher. So we'll give ourselves a head start. Alusell, if nothing else, is a master recognizer of patterns, and he definitely sees one here, so. There you go. Alusell eats Draugr Death Overlords for breakfast. Oops, that was the wrong one. I need to flip this one. Hopefully we can mirror the success against Vokun. Oops, candlelight. This fight will be much harder if we can't see what we're doing. Okay, Vokun's throne room. Something tells me this is where the magic's gonna happen here. So let's do it. Oh boy. Okay, a bunch of high-level potions right outside a closed door. You've been playing video games for as long as I have. You know that means one thing. A major boss fight. Okay, he went ethereal. He does have that same perk that we do. What should we do here? Definitely going to need steadfast ward. And I think if we can let him tap himself out, I have a perk here that I've gotten a while ago called like Nullifying Field. Nullifier. So enemies within 25 feet can't recover either magicka or stamina. So if we can get Vokun to pump all of his magicka into our ward, then we can just get in and hack away at him. So let's give that a shot. He's got that fire cloak up there. I don't like that. Let him deplete his staff. And as long as he keeps directly hitting our ward with that, we're not going to pick up any splash damage from the fireball. You still got charges in there? Must have a really high destruction skill. Yeah, we got caught with some splash there, but it wasn't enough to break our ward. See if we can get his cloak to wear down and get his staff to run out of charges. Maybe do some bit of damage. No, I don't want him doing that. Alright. Just want to be cognizant. This looks like it might turn into a drawn-out battle here, so just want to make sure he doesn't catch us by surprise with anything. Must have a huge magicka store. Well, all he's done was cast Ebony Flesh spell twice. Ooh. Ebony Flesh spell twice. The Flame Cloak. And a healing. So he might be getting low there. Oh, there goes Ebony Flesh again. Flame Cloak. He's injured now. It's a chest injury, which I think is a stamina regen debuff. Ooh, we're getting close. And there it is. Alright, take a deep breath. Loot that dusty bastard. Okay. So there it is. Now, at this point, we are visited by an uncorrupted Haldir, which I know looks a lot like Feldir, but suspend your disbelief a little bit. I just think that this is what Haldir would look like, based on the story that we've told surrounding him. And his Feldir's name sounds like Haldir too, so I just went with Feldir, just because I don't think there's an uncorrupted Haldir model in the game already, and I didn't want to go through the hassle of actually making one, like creating a follower or something. So here's Haldir. He gives us, he says that he has no end of gratitude for what we've done. He also says that while history may forget everything that I've done, and may forget me as well, that the spirits that we've helped that have been forgotten by time and history and left to suffer for eternity, none of them will forget, as they live out their eternity wherever they are. Sovngarde, Aetherius, wherever they're at, they will always remember what we did for them. With that, Haldir and Alusell share a very manly and stoic nod to each other. No need for hugs or handshakes or any other sort of platitudes between these two. Haldir has some mead to drink with his buddy Olaf in Sovngarde, so he floats off to the big mead hall in the sky. Now, Alusell should feel some sort of relief. He doesn't really. He feels a bit of emptiness. I mean, he's glad that he's done with the curse, that curse has been lifted, and this chapter of his story has been closed. So dramatic. So he's glad. The battle with Vokun went much better than the battle with Regat. He feels a little better about that, even though we had to use potions. We probably could have made it work with healing spells. But in the interest of time, I needed to get through it, so I leaned heavily on potions, but we didn't have to. But yeah, something's still nagging at him. And that something is definitely the dragon blood. The fact that he's still dragonborn. He still feels it in there. So while one curse was lifted, he feels that one curse still remains. And he almost feels that this is the bigger curse. Just because this is the one that he actually feels the effects of. Haldir's curse didn't affect him. The only way that the curse would have manifested is if he killed the wrong priest or decided not to kill any priest. He would have ended up in the Soul Cairn when he died, for an eternity of misery. Which is a pretty bad curse, but it wasn't affecting him in the moment. The dragon blood, however, he feels the effects of it literally all the time. Every waking moment of his life. So that's probably this empty sense of unease that he's feeling. That's the source of it. So now we're going to head back outside, share the news with Raya and Eric. Oh look, they're out here sharing a drink. Okay, so Alusell comes marching back out, and Raya and Eric are sharing a drink, probably talking about Alusell. And they're shocked to see him come back so soon. And they're like, well, what happened? And so Alusell says, it's over. Vokun is dead. The curse has been lifted. At that, Raya and Eric celebrate with vigor. Vigorously celebrate. They're like, woo! They're hugging, they're jumping around, they're congratulating me. Or they're congratulating Alusell. I'm just a driver. Alusell's the real star of the show here. Alusell still feels kind of empty. He wears a little half smile on his face. That's about all he can muster. But he doesn't want to rain on Raya and Eric's parade. This is something that should be celebrated, so he lets the celebration kind of run its course. Until things calm down a little bit, and Eric says, so what now, boss? And
It just
Alusell
feels right
says,
somehow. This new life
I
for the
think
adventurer.
we have earned some
Always wanted
rest.
to-
Let's go home.
Great. Let's go.
I await your orders, Thane. As you will, my Thane. I will protect you with my life.
So we proceed back to Carathanthir Tower. And we'll take the short way. So one thing we want to do is head back to the library and set up our Dragon Priest mask, or Vokun mask. Sorry if it sounds like I'm shouting. I think my volume might be a little too loud in my headphones, so I feel like I'm trying to talk over it. So if I'm shouting for some reason, and you're wondering why, that's the reason. Okay, add to the collection here, Vokun. I think it's interesting.
Don't get too far ahead.
It's an interesting perspective on this. So Hjalti and Vokun had a very close relationship, close enough that Vokun was willing to betray the very powerful Ideal Masters to sort of save Hjalti's soul. So there was a connection there. There was definitely some moral fuel, a fuel for a moral conflict on killing Vokun there. But there were a few different degrees of separation there. Haldir was acting on behalf of Hjalti, who he took the curse over from. And Alusell was acting on behalf of Haldir. So there's a few degrees of separation there. Alusell doesn't really feel that connection. He doesn't feel that moral dilemma. So Vokun, not trapping Hjalti's soul and completely corrupting him and subjugating him to the Ideal Masters for eternity, gave Hjalti the opportunity to become Tiber Septim, to unite Tamriel, and ultimately to become the divine Talos. So Vokun in this story is actually quite the heroic figure. He enabled Talos. He enabled the Empire. He enabled unification of all these different races, and changed history, changed the history of Tamriel, and changed the landscape of Tamriel. One could argue largely for the better. But here he is, dying an unceremonious death and becoming nothing more than a display in someone's library. Just something to think about. And by the way, if you come up with stuff like that, if you really delve deep into the ramifications of these things and the concepts and the history and the feelings behind the stuff that you do in this game, you will enjoy this game a lot more. It's more work. It's not something that you're just going to come home after working 12 hours and you're not going to be able to zone out and do all that stuff. But if you can find the energy for it, stuff like this will really just exponentially raise the enjoyment level for you of this game that's 8 years old now, or 7 years old now. That's why I still play this game. That's why it's still my favorite game in the history of video games, which is saying something. Okay, so now go back to the mage quarters. And we're gonna relax.
Yes, my Thane. Do you...
So just hang out here. You do the same.
It just feels right somehow, having this new life as an adventurer.
Okay, so Alusell still feels empty, unfulfilled. He doesn't feel like a curse has been lifted because he still feels cursed with the dragon blood. Now, the way he feels about this dragon blood, and why he feels so strongly about it and why he despises it so much, is twofold. The first thing is that everything that he accomplishes, everything that he achieves, as strong as he gets, all of that is going to be achievements of the dragon blood. Achievements of the divines who gifted him with this blood. It's not going to be his achievements. At least that's how he sees it. Unless he's pure, none of his achievements or accomplishments are his own. That is definitely a curse. I think nobody could argue that feeling that way isn't a curse. The second thing is that as long as he has this dragon blood, he's basically a puppet to destiny. He is a tool of the divines that gifted him this blood. Akatosh, I think specifically. As long as he has this blood, he is going to be beholden and obligated to do certain things, such as destroy Alduin and save the entire world. Alusell wouldn't necessarily be opposed to just letting that happen, despite Akatosh and this gift that he didn't ask for, except that young lady over there in the throne. He's okay deciding his own fate and the fate of the rest of the world, but Raya is very much her own woman, and Alusell wouldn't have that any other way. He's not going to make that decision for Raya. The end of the world would mean the end of her, and he's not going to make that decision ever. So Alusell starts journeying into this deep contemplative state. So he's going to go to his favorite place to meditate, and he's going to take a knee, and he's going to meditate. So Alusell begins to inwardly contemplate very intensely. And we've kind of described his newfound ability to teleport to limited degrees as, while he's meditating for his level ups, he begins to see into the fabric of his own being. And in doing that, he's also beginning to kind of broach the barrier into seeing into the fabric of Aetherius itself. So as he inwardly meditates and tries to come to terms with this curse of the dragon blood, he starts to see more clearly that where these little magical sparks that make him dragonborn are kind of added to his entity. And pretty soon, he enters a state of deep stasis. And in this state, he feels no cold. He feels no hunger, no thirst. and he loses all track of time. How about that, huh? So as he contemplates the nature of this Dragonborn curse, he journeys deeper and deeper into the fabric of his own being. And what he discovers is that it's not just a magical spark that was added to him by the divines that made him Dragonborn, but actually several modifications to several key pieces of his very being. It is incredibly pervasive into the fabric of his personality, into the fabric of his own soul, all of that. So as he goes in and tries to clean up all of these little pieces of the dragon blood, the nights turn into the next day, the days turn into weeks, the weeks turn into months, the months turn into years, the years decades, decades centuries. And Skyrim goes on without him. Raya and Eric. Eric becomes a well-known mercenary. He's very successful. Raya is probably his best friend in the whole world, so Eric is mentioned going to Hammerfell. They kind of give up on Alusell. I'm sure that they will come back and check on him from now and again. But they decide to go to Hammerfell. Raya would like to return to her homeland and see what's going on there. But meanwhile, Alusell spends every moment in meditation, desperately trying to rid himself of the dragon blood. And it's not a happy ending, right? But at least doing this, at least for the time being while he's in this state, he's not a puppet to Akatosh. He doesn't have to do anything that the Dragonborn is obligated to do. So he's finally free. To a certain extent. Free of the curse, but a slave to his own stasis. And that, my friends, is where we end Alusell's story. I hope that this is a satisfying ending. I'm actually pretty proud of the kind of concept that I came up for this ending. And the interactions that he had in the Highgate Ruins. And his sentiments regarding Vokun. This was a super, super cool experience. I'm still kind of riding a high on it. I can't believe it's over. And I can't wait to share it with everybody. So I hope you enjoyed it as much as I have. And hopefully I'll be back for Season 3 with a brand new character and a new concept, new gameplay, and a new Let's Play. In the meantime, though, it might be a few weeks before Season 3 starts up, and it also might be a week or two before Tuco Guide is updated with some of the mods that I want to add to it. So until the Tuco Guide is updated with immersive weapons, Amidian Born, and Bruma, among some other smaller things that I'm looking forward to, I might boot up Alusell again. And just do some dungeon clears to kind of show off some of his alteration prowess that we had to skip over due to time constraints in his last few episodes. So yeah, if I have time to do that, I will definitely do that. Looking forward to it, actually, and looking forward to sharing it all with you. So thanks again, everybody, and I will see you next time.